Welcome in to a Sunday night edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, brought to you by Lance Beal, Attorney at Law. Lance Beal, Attorney at Law, down in Lafayette, Louisiana. Get in touch with my guy as he understands the importance of small businesses. They're the backbone of the unique culture. Over in Lafayette, the law offices of Lance Beal is located in Lafayette, focusing on helping small businesses get through unprecedented times. Give Lance a call tonight. We'll be telling you about this number at, that's obviously 337-991-6263. 337-991-6263. The law offices of Lance Beal. We'll be talking to him, talking about Lance, all about it on our Sunday nights here as he has jumped aboard here. So welcome in. Roe is here. Noah's here. Lloyd is here. We've got BJ Ojulari on the line. We'll get to him and then get our remarks here on this Sunday as we've had a little time to digest what we saw last night in LSU versus Kentucky. But let's get right into it with our guy, BJ Ojulari, who has been great to our show here. It's been great to be in partnership here with him this season. Obviously, BJ, not the outcome that the Tigers wanted last night. How are you feeling on this Sunday?
Just feeling very disappointed. That, like you said, not the outcome that we were hoping for or what we planned for. But that's just college football. We just got to come back next week and get right for Florida.
What was that atmosphere last night on television? It looked like it was rocking.
Oh yeah, it was a very great atmosphere. The stadium was sold out. They had their student section rocking. They had a lot of energy behind it. But it was a great atmosphere.
What was today like? I know obviously we talked about the outcome, but as far as kind of getting your treatment in and going through a little bit of film, if you've had an opportunity to do that, what was this Sunday like for you?
Yeah, just a recovery day. Just get back for next week to start back practicing. Just went in the training room early, get all your nicks and knacks just figured out before next week starts.
BJ, what's going on, baby? This is Rohan Davey.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Hey, I understand that yesterday was disappointing. I'm sure it definitely wasn't the outcome you guys wanted. Let me ask you a question, man. Was there anything in the first quarter or the second quarter of that game that, whether it was a formation or a call, that you guys didn't know or didn't anticipate that you felt like you was prepared for?
I feel like we were prepared for everything. They came out we was really prepared for everything. They did the RPO, zone read, and stuff like that. I think we just didn't execute as well as we were supposed to, as we did in previous game.
Gotcha. And another thing, when you go in, let me ask you this: the procedure when you go in at halftime. I know halftime is big on adjustments. It was for me when I was in the NFL, and it certainly was when I was at LSU with Jimbo Fisher. Halftime adjustments, like when you go in for your halftime adjustments and now you're sitting down, whether it's in front of the board, what was one of the main initiatives coming out of halftime yesterday that we didn't do so well in the first half that was a focal point in the second half for you guys defensively?
Most definitely to stop the run, stop the downhill run for 24. And we had an emphasis on stopping that quarterback zone read from gashing us. He was
a big dude, man. He was tough to bring down, huh?
Yes, sir.
What was it like going up against Dare Rosenthal last night?
It was really fun. Going against him every day. So it was a great experience to go back against him. And he's a great athletic offensive tackle. So it was just a great challenge for me.
Tell me about the mindset this week. Obviously, there'll be a lot of noise around the program. How do you stay focused and make sure you prepare for Florida coming up for an 11 a.m. kickoff back in Baton Rouge?
It's going to be we just got to stay focused on us. It's going to be a great atmosphere, homecoming. We always play good against the Florida Gators. So last year we was in the same predicament, and we just honed in on this, and we came out victorious. So that's going to be the plan this week coming up.
How's your health? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Training staff does a great job with us, getting us on the field, keeping us healthy, and saving our legs.
Have a great week of preparation, my man. Keep up the hard work, and we'll talk to you next Sunday night. Go get them on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. There's BJ Ojulari checking in as he does every week here on the Jordy Culotta Show. A sack last night for BJ, one of the pass rushers for LSU. But the task of Levis, last night was 5 touchdowns by the Kentucky quarterback. He showed that he could do it with his arm. He showed he could do it with his legs.
No doubt.
He really was. He was on last night.
He was fantastic. He was fantastic. He played right into whatever it was that we tried to take away from them, and especially from him, whether it be the run, the pass. He did it well. If we tried to force him to run, he ran the football well, and we didn't make tackles. And when he got the matchups that he wanted, one-on-one coverage, he made the throws. So, I mean, it was similar to the previous week against Bo Nix, another quarterback that we couldn't contain. A quarterback beats us with his legs and also with his arms. So, he played well, and that's why Kentucky got the outcome that they did. We did a very, very poor job, man, in the second half of executing. It even went downwards as the game progressed, second half, third to fourth. And that's part of coaching. Yeah. That's part of getting these guys into a fix, into a groove that they understand. You saw them come out early with a little tempo, and it went well. It went well. Now, just because we don't score a touchdown, that don't mean it's
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just seemed like we
chewing
went
up clock, eating field position.
Yeah, and it was wonderful. Max was getting the football out of his hands. Guys were in rhythm. You saw them try to get Booty involved early. But back to your point, Levis played a really, really good football, an efficient football game too. Very efficient.
He was
very efficient.
He was impressive. I thought he made some money last night.
Yeah,
I thought his draft stock went up.
There were a couple plays I saw. I know one in particular that the play kind of fell apart. Like he went to hand off one way, run back one there.
Yeah, he picked up 6.
But then he's able to turn around and turn it into something.
Taysom Hillish.
Yeah, it was very Taysom Hillish. And he looks like Taysom.
He's huge.
I wonder how many tests he gets popped on him weekly, bro. I mean, if he was in Major League Baseball, he'd be on the daily checklist.
He's getting around him.
For sure.
He and Miles Garrett on that list all day.
That to me was the most. That was the most discouraging part about last night, was how much the defensive line was getting shoved off the line of scrimmage.
You know, it's so much that go into that.
Yeah. I mean,
them not dressing out the normal numbers.
Yeah.
Them not having guys available. And now you have a team in Kentucky that's making an effort to run the football. And they're running you north and south, and then, you know what I'm saying, east and west. It's not just these guys are running you lateral, and also these guys. You saw Jaquelin on a couple. Man, these guys were tired, man.
They were.
Yeah.
And especially once it got late into the third and the fourth quarter, these guys were tired, and Kentucky was gashing us, and it was showing.
It was 4 or 5 yards before contact was being made in the third and fourth quarter.
These guys were tired, man, and it goes back to just think about the talent level. When we watch games all the time, and you look at these dominant defensive fronts and offensive lines, that, in my opinion, is not the skill positions. That, in my opinion, is where LSU has not gotten it done.
That's their issue.
Yes.
We
have not, and also sustain, because even if you don't sustain a quarterback, you have those positions. You could bring a quarterback along, just like you're doing with Max Johnson right now. You're bringing him along slowly, and then that way you get to meet the schedule. Hopefully he's picked up, and with the help of the offense and defensive line. But we haven't recruited the trenches. We've missed on guys in the trenches, and that's where, in my opinion, we've not been able to sustain being LSU and not being able to go to Kentucky and pull out a victory, and where you have a drop-off and where you win the national championship, and now you go just 2 years removed, and now you're talking about possibly losing your coach, rebuilding, so to speak. 2 years removed, but you still have the same amount of talent in the NFL as these teams that's winning these championships.
Sure.
So that goes now to, once you recruit them, what are we doing with them here?
Yeah, I think the development is.
Oh, no doubt.
From a football standpoint, I think that's O's biggest cross to bear. Like he's got other stuff that they're dealing with,
right?
As far as the status of his job goes, and we'll get to that because I know that's the elephant in the room. That's what everybody's talking about right now. But I think from an overcoming standpoint, from a football standpoint, the question that he's going to have a tough time answering is, where is the development at? Why hasn't Ed Ingram gotten any better from his freshman All-SEC season to where he is now? Why hasn't Austin Deculus, throughout those so many starts, why hasn't he progressively improved along the way? There's so many, and I don't mean to pick those two guys out. Those are just two guys that have been here and played a lot of football.
Right.
There's stories like that all over the field that I think Orgeron really can't answer with an honest face and tell his administration and bosses that they've done a good job at that. Now, the off the field stuff is obviously what has buried him in this job. And last night felt truly, I don't know how many times we've said this. I feel like we've said it a couple of times, like, upwards of like 8 or 9. But last night truly did feel like the death nail for the Ed Orgeron regime. And I think a lot of people were curious on whether or not there was going to be a move made, even as quick as last night, especially throughout today or maybe even this week. And here you are going through the day after the game, and there's no news that's coming out of LSU football, which tells me, in my opinion, that I think that he's going to make it through the week. I don't know why, if you would make this move, if you would make it in the middle of a game week where it would just really cloud and throw up more confusion, which maybe at this point.
Off week?
Maybe an off week. What's that, going into Bama? That would be
Alabama.
2 weeks. Yeah, but look, man, you could bring back a best of LSU over the last 5 years, and I don't know if you're going to beat this Alabama team just because of the disarray and dysfunction that LSU is in. You're just going to have to close your eyes, go in there, and take your whooping. You know what I mean? It's going to be.
The thing about it is, man, you have to now. It's not like the timing of this. Scott and these guys have to know is paramount, because you have to now understand you're going to start having to re-recruit some of these guys that's on the squad.
Quick.
You're going to now have to start having to reach out to recruits. It's a lot that goes into it, because, like, not knowing, the unknown is the worst thing.
It is.
So for these guys, I don't know who the damn coach is going to be. I don't know who my position coach is going to be. I don't know this. I don't know that. Like, you're not going as a big time recruit. You're not going to a place where you don't know who's going to be there and who you're going to be working with and what the philosophy is going to be, what the front's going to be, what are we going to be teaching? Are we going to be running a 3-4? Are we going to run a 4-3? Are we going to run RPOs? Like, what are we going to be doing? And that is why the decision, and when they make the decision, which I'm with you, needs to be immediately. For those specific reasons, because guys are already, listen. This is a day and age where you have guys that are more now. With this NIL thing and all this stuff is going. You have guys now that are more in control of their future than they ever have been,
and more accessible.
Absolutely,
more accessible. You can get in touch with them very easily.
Correct.
I mean, there are so many position coach and lower ring assistants on programs around the SEC that have relationships with all of these guys throughout recruiting. And not only do they have relationships with the player, they've got relationships with the aunt, the uncle, the dad, the sister, the girlfriend, and they can still text them and say, hey, is Brian Thomas happy right now with what's going on? Because we sure could use him in Fayetteville, or they really could use him in College Station.
They really could use him anywhere.
They could use him anywhere. But I'm just saying, you could easily get in touch with him and give Brian Thomas something to think about tonight before he goes to bed and saying, you know what? Why not? I mean, all I got to do is get in the portal, and the next thing you know, I'm playing for Texas A&M, or I'm playing for Georgia, or I'm playing for Florida, whoever it may be.
There's no waiting, too. Once you do that, like if you do it on the offseason, boom, you're there. There's no consequence of having to sit out a year. They get one free go at it. So, like, it makes it that much more enticing.
Goes into what we were just talking about. The players are more in control of their destiny than they have ever been, and that brings empowerment. And if you empower them, they're going to take advantage of it. Hey, do us a favor real quick. If you're watching, please hit the like, share, dislike, whatever it may be. We just want the interaction.
Do something.
That helps us out. We appreciate you being here. We're here every Sunday night, and our Sunday night shows are now compliments of our guy, Lance Beal down in Lafayette. Remember,
baby.
Lance Beal is he understands what small businesses mean to small communities and to communities. If you're in the Acadiana area out in Lafayette, get in touch with Lance Beal at 337-991-6263. If you're faced with a serious medical issue, you look to the most renowned, respected doctor you can find. When it comes to law, it's experience and dedication that you're looking for, and Lance Beal provides that every single time you get in touch with him. So if you're in the Lafayette area, what is he doing?
Well,
Why did he stop? Does he have the Chiefs?
All-time ad read.
I mean, sorry, Lance Beal, but my guy Diggs. I mean, we got Buffalo tonight.
What is he doing?
What is he doing? No, I'm on with Roe.
God damn it.
Call Lance Beal.
I need it.
Damn it.
Bankruptcy.
Lance Beal.
What he doing?
Dedicated lawyer.
What was he doing?
337-991-6263. What is he doing?
He didn't know he was there trying to celebrate.
Oh my God! If they don't score here, this is what'll keep you up all night. Come on, Josh Allen.
Look at him. Ah.
Oh shit!
Can't believe old Tyron Matthew over there on the red zone. Now he's gonna get that ball back.
Holler at Lance though. Lance Beal, our guy.
He won't turn it over.
It seems like everybody's surprised that Ojulari's the coach today. Are you? I mean, I was at the ballpark this afternoon. Jay had a football game. A lot of people came up to me. How's he still the coach? So tonight, I see a lot of the comments. People asking, how is he still employed? Did you expect him to? This is a dangerous conversation, but I mean, I think that it's inevitable that he is not going to be here in 2022. Did you expect him not to be here today?
I thought that it would either be today or tomorrow, and just based on if they've discussed this, something they've talked about already. But I thought it would be either today or tomorrow that a decision would have came down.
Is Woodward trying to, obviously, he's trying to get all of his ducks in a row, right? He's trying
I'd
to
imagine,
get
yeah,
everything organized behind the scenes before he pulls the trigger, because you don't want it's sitting out there like a cloud over the program. It's like, who do you bring in? You know, there's a lot of things you can do behind the scenes to make this thing be a clean transition, it feels like.
I gotta imagine that the UCLA stuff really kicked it into high gear.
It's been working.
You know, like put Woodward kind of in a position of, okay, it's not if, it's when this is going to happen. Let me get in touch with the right people. Let me call Jimmy Sexton and see how many people I can get in touch with. And oh no.
You see, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is what happens all the time.
Yeah, it is.
What the hell was he doing?
I know.
What was Diggs doing?
You can look directly back to it.
He didn't see him behind him,
right.
and he was getting ready to Dion or something.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Diggs.
Just getting the end
We're going
zone.
to keep your game check this
Just
week,
getting the end
14. Oh, God. He went outside.
No,
he threw it
Man, it was a
outside.
bad
He went
throw.
inside.
He needs to give his game
It'll
check to
be
his,
just my luck he
to his
missed.
little brother.
Jordy.
He needs to give his game check to his little brother.
He does. His brother's a stud.
Oh, he's a
What?
baller.
He's balling right
That's
now.
crazy.
That shows how
Hey, you know
good
he was a
Jamar
former.
is.
You know he was a former receiver.
Looks
Yeah.
like it.
He
Yeah.
was.
His ball
When
skills.
when
Saban
he
would
made
switch you, boy. I'm
His
telling
ball
you.
skills,
when he
yeah.
made that
Corey
pick
Webster.
Today,
That's right.
The one out of bounds?
when he made that
Yeah,
pick
he's a
today,
mon-
I
he's
was
a
like, he
monster.
played receiver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
played
absolutely.
receiver.
He
He took
reminds me of Corey Webster in
Yeah.
the sense of
Absolutely.
when he showed up to Alabama, he was a receiver.
Absolutely.
Saban took 2 practices and said, look, we can make you a 5th-round pick as a receiver. We can make you a first-round pick as a corner.
Which one?
What do you want to do here? And
First round pick, baby.
Yep. I mean, other than his showing against Jamar Chase in 2019,
Yeah.
I mean, Diggs has been Jamar Chase.
Pretty
Is, I
good.
mean, did you see him today?
Goodness gracious.
How did he catch that ball, man?
Don't know, man.
That was like a ball coming at you in the dark and you hitting the light as soon as it like gets in front of your face. Like how
Mistake.
that was 70 yards in front of an
Yeah.
NFL stadium and a cornerback
You know,
that broke on it.
And then
Jamar-
the catch in overtime
That-
Yeah.
where he dragged
yeah,
that
yeah.
foot. I was like,
Uh-huh. Did you hear the whole crowd over they saw on the replay board? They were just smitten. They're like, yeah, that's my guy.
I know
kid's a
I know
monster,
I'm
man.
biased, but I think he's like an all-pro right
Kid's
now.
he definitely
Pro
a
bowler.
pro,
Like
pro
no, he's
bowler
definitely a
right
Pro
now.
bowler.
Yeah, pro bowler.
Like I'm talking like an all-pro, like where the players
He
vote the
is
top
a
players in the league.
monster right now, dog.
What's
He
the last-
is-
oh, go ahead, sorry.
The thing the things that he is doing,
Is next level. Like
and the trust that Joe has
Yeah.
in him is
yeah.
phenomenal.
I thought Jonathan Vilma today on the call was like, "This is amazing." I mean,
Loving
it looks like these two have been doing this forever. I mean, it's like he was in awe. I mean, he was just like, "This
Dude.
is incredible
young.
that they're doing this in the NFL." I mean, those are NFL cornerbacks.
Dog,
Just that
Chase just playing
he's
with him.
toying
dog.
with them.
Chase is just playing with him right now, letting them know, like, I'm the big dog. I'm the first one, but I'm the Chase. I knew he was going to be good in the NFL.
Yeah. Right.
But this is
next level stuff.
Yeah, this is next level.
This is 3-4 years in the league. I thought he'd be playing like this.
Next level, dog.
This is his fifth game of it's the fifth game of his career.
Especially with how it started, whatever. They had all of that hanging around, like, oh, he's got the yips or what have you.
Yeah,
and they're like, get that man on the football
That's
field.
the best part about it.
He's got one drop.
Yeah,
that's the best part about. That's the best part about it. Is like, I mean, like when you look back at his rookie year, you're going to start the narrative with everybody saying like he couldn't catch the ball, and then he's like he's breaking Randy Moss's records in the first month of his career.
65-yard touchdown pass.
Okay, so everybody's they want to get back to the LSU stuff, and I understand that. No, I get it. But LSU guys were balling today. Justin Jefferson had a big day in Minnesota. Yeah,
he did.
So this Ojulari stuff, obviously, look, I know a lot of people are out there that are surprised that he is still. He's still on the staff. Quite frankly, I am too. I have not heard anything behind the scenes to suggest that this thing was going to happen today, nor do I know anything that it's going to happen tomorrow or next week. I just figured that they have to get out in front and save the football stuff because there's too much repercussion, like Roe talked about, and you've got to maintain your roster for next season, and you've got to hold on to this recruiting class as tight as you can. I mean, every loss that you have out of this class is a real big whack on LSU football, whether it's going to be a guy like Shaz Preston, whether it's going to be a guy like Jacoby Matthews, Quincy Wiggins, any of these guys that are out there that you have the opportunity to get because they're in Louisiana that you may miss because of a coaching change will haunt you.
Yeah.
It'll haunt you because if you can get all, getting all of them right now is a tall task, but getting the majority of them could really set the next coach up 3 years from now to be like a championship type team. I mean, like you could win SEC or at least contend for SEC and national titles.
And the thing about it also, man, you want to keep your in-state top talents. And these guys are top guys. And this is one of the reasons why you pointed out why we have to make a move to secure these guys or give them some kind of assurance of who's going to be there as the coach. And, for me, I thought the decision would have came down early. As the reason why I speculated today and tomorrow also is just because of it's something like you pointed out that's been ramping up.
Yeah.
It's something.
Bro, how many people do you think will be at the Florida game if he's there? I mean, it looks like he'll be there, but, I mean, first off, it's an 11 a.m. kickoff, which does not move the meter in Baton Rouge at all.
No.
You got Florida coming to town, coming off of a momentum. The momentum, you're going against the grain on the momentum. You've lost. You don't know the status of your best player in Keyshawn Butte. You should learn that tomorrow with Ed Ojulari when he meets with the.
And from what you saw from that, it
doesn't look
good.
It
don't look good.
Don't look good.
It
looks like definitely next week is going to be tough to get him back.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really worried about the long term there, but momentum is coming against you. Is what I'm trying to paint. You're coming off of a loss. It's an 11 a.m. start. Everybody, or it seems like the majority, are over the Ojulari regime. Like they're ready to. They're almost ready to flush it, move on. Whatever's next, let's see what it's going to be. If he's on the sideline, combined with all of those variables that we talk about, 11 a.m. loss, don't know your best player is going to be there. 50,000 over under. 50,000. I'm tempted to say like a lot under
30.
The thing about it, man, it's also we talk about distractions. That's a distraction in itself.
Amen.
You know what I mean? So if we talking about getting this thing fixed and getting it on the way to being fixed, the first step is to remove the issue, remove the problem. Right. And then we can get on to because this is the thing that we do know. Nothing on the field is going to be fixed this year.
Right.
Right? So I said this before, so our focus should be getting the respect of the university back to where it needs to be, to where our head coach isn't tempted to get prank calls, to where we're not in the media talking about our head coach's behavior with young women. And that's the focal point. And it's not about football, and it's not about whether it's raising money or whatever it may be, but it's not negative. It's not negative. And that's where everything has been since football season has started.
Even before last
been,
summer.
You know,
the summer after the national championship.
Right. It's been a black cloud ever since. And there's been repeated behavior, like you pointed out, from back then to now to this to that. And this isn't something that, it's just go back to what we talk about as athletes. As athletes, they tell us, carry yourself this way. Understand you're representing the university, you're representing your parents, you're representing God, and all that. And now, so the same thing applies, and even more so to the
leader,
head honcho, who is, as he's well said, a grown man. He accepts responsibilities, like he pointed out. And it's the same way where you have to have some accountability and some responsibility for how you're being perceived,
sure,
and how you're being perceived by your team and these young men that you're trying to influence. And to me, that's the part about it that should ultimately, and that is ultimately leading to why we're here discussing him being relieved of his job, and sooner rather than later, because it doesn't bode well for these young men, and it hasn't, to be under that influence.
No, it definitely is it is so much hypocrisy that comes from that chair. You know, I mean, that chair is always cloaked in accountability and transparency and respecting the team and respecting the locker room. And could you imagine if a picture came out with Kayshawn or BJ laid up with somebody, you know what I mean? It would, I'm not saying that they would be suspended and they would miss a game, but they would have to put up with some shit behind the door. They'd have to put up with some stuff in the locker room. Like, there would be a meeting about how you carry yourself, or what happens with the team when that stuff gets out. Well, I mean, you really have to worry about when these guys go out into the public, whether they're going to have to answer questions about the behavior of the coach, of the head coach. I mean,
I'm pretty sure they're answering more questions about that than actually anything else.
No doubt about it.
Because the one thing you know is people around here, this is a very football and LSU driven community, as we all know. So it doesn't matter if it's fall, summer, doesn't matter what the season is, the topic is always LSU football. And if you're the head coach of this organization, you're going to be the topic. So that's why it's even more of a thing where you cannot do or behave in the manner that you have. I mean, that's the responsibility you have, dog. And if you don't want it, then, clearly it seems that way. This is what happens. And this is what should happen.
Last night was a bad scene for LSU.
I mean, once they get the turnover, don't you feel
I
like it's over?
I think that's why so many people are curious today on why.
It was anemic.
Why you
and
stay.
The thing about it too, man, not to cut you off, Jay, that the thing that Coach Ed Ojulari, to his credit, has always done well, he's always motivated. He's always been able to push those buttons with those guys to get them to react. Going all the way back to SC, when he was the only one retained on that staff, and came and getting retained back to be the head coach. But he's always been able to do it, even here at LSU. That's been his calling card. That as well as recruiting, being a good recruiter. And when you lose the key thing that you have, or it starts to
your identity
in the eyes of these smart football players that see day in and day out different movement, especially after success. When they see you, they're getting spoken to differently. They're being handled differently. It's a different bravado and sweat with it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the thing about it also, man, that when that big ego and those type of things get thrown into the forefront, and now you lose that thing that you were really great at, or it's starting to diminish. That's when you know there's something going on there, man.
I'm going to give you some names. You tell me yes or no. You give me a little pro con. You give me how you feel about them in in a 2 to 3 minute window, and I'll throw them at you. Lane Kiffin to start off with.
I mean, Lane is good offensively. He's definitely what you want as an offensive-minded coach. I don't know how committed to playing great defense Lane may be or may be opposed to. And I firmly believe that he has the mantra and the ability to come in and definitely be in. But the same thing with him is the same thing that we're talking about now with Coach Ed Ojulari, is you have to question whether, you know, a guy's integrity and that type of thing, because based on what I know, and I don't know the guy personally, but
Sure.
just based on what I've
Perception.
known.
Track record.
Absolutely.
Just what you were talking about.
And we don't want that. We don't want to have to deal with that again.
Give me a thought on an NFL guy coming from the NFL to college. Do you believe it can work? And then first guy I would ask would be Eric Bieniemy, who we're watching right now calling plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think that because there's a lot of college coaches when I was in the NFL, a lot of pro coaches when I was in the NFL that were very, very high on college. Watched it all the time, loved it, loved the game, so on and so forth. So I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know who or would Mr. Eric Bieniemy be interested in the LSU job when that becomes available. I know he's a fantastic mind. Every year he comes up for a job, or he's interviewed for a job, or isn't interviewed, and they talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how interested he would be for college, to come to college. I don't know. I know he's been in the pros for a while now, and I know guys love that system. Just freely how you move. I don't know how opposed he would be to recruiting and all that, but I would definitely find out.
New Orleans native.
I will find out.
Which is a very much an advantage. Understands, I think, the passion of the state for football.
Yep.
And, like, it's got to be said, I mean, he's coached the best player on the planet for the past 4 years and been the play caller behind that.
And, man, when we talk about getting somebody that's innovative, when we get somebody about using the strengths with no
Absolutely.
ego, I mean, that is, and with a mind, and has been under Andy Reid and like you said, has the reins, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's doing it. It's not like Andy Reid is telling him this, telling him that. They put it together, and he's the man. So I would definitely, I mean, you know, I ain't making no calls, but he would be somebody that I would like at least see if it's something that he would be interested in.
Another. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, don't you think that LSU was just the last two hires, obviously with Les Miles and Edo? Don't you think their stability would be almost the first thing that they're looking for, and that it's a strike against a Lane Kiffin which makes sense, but just at the state of the program now where LSU is, it looks like they just need somebody to be a figurehead, just somebody to, like, right the ship for 3 years and, like, this thing is topsy-turvy.
Well,
Can we get back on track?
Yeah, but I'm not about to give nobody no job to right the ship just for 3 years.
Yep.
I'm putting somebody
Well,
in there.
decade.
Yeah, because that's
You
what I
thinking
say.
for 10 years.
This isn't a stepping stone job. You know what I mean? And I had this conversation with Jimmy. This is not, when you look at this job, that's why I get peed off with the game yesterday, because it's Kentucky, dog, and I'm not no knock on Kentucky. They're rising, they're up and coming.
There's a standard in the LSU.
When you
It's a pecking order.
Kentucky,
Right.
You feel me? Like
Right.
that's how I feel about it. And it's like I said, there's no disrespect to Kentucky, but that's just how I feel about LSU. And so when you have this job that come on the market, it's like Jordan 1s just came on the market. You understand what I'm saying? Like, who don't want it? Who don't want ones?
Right.
It don't matter if they're $1 million. If you got 2 M's, you're gonna break the bank
Line
and
out
go
the door.
get it. Exactly. So that is how this job is CB prestige. You're not coming here. This is the Mecca. This is what you want. This is why you come to school. Excuse me. This is why you do all the stupid stuff and do all the work to get to the job, to
Absolutely.
where you could
Pay your dues.
pay your dues to where you can have an opportunity to get a job like this, like a Bieniemy, like a Kiffin, like these guys. But you also have to, like, everything has to be aligned. You can't come here with the bag, especially not when you can't come off of baggage and get more baggage.
That's right.
And know you got baggage.
That's why guys like Hugh Freeze, who I've heard his name brought up, I think great offensive mind, wants to get back in the SEC. I think at this point, really untouchable just from where LSU is. I think Lane Kiffin's on the fringe of that, even though Kiffin hasn't, you haven't heard a lot about Kiffin in probably a decade.
Correct.
You know, but it's
and that's
still
the good thing about
out
that.
there. Right.
Correct.
But you know,
because you know why with him, you still see the things on social media that. It's still, you know what I mean?
It's still, it's on the line. It's on the line. It's kind of skating. It's on the line. You just don't. Do you want to put up with that? But then you go out there and you watch that he's always got a quarterback developed. His offense is always on the is just on the cutting edge. And I think when he gets here and you've got a budget like LSU has, and he understands his limitations, that he says, "I'm not. I'll take a pay cut and pay my defensive coordinator $2 million, and I'll make that position. Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure that I get the right guy there." And make that side relevant. But like guys like Hugh Freeze, Urban Meyer, even like Urban Meyer to me is totally off limits just because of I think Urban Meyer is off limits to USC.
Urban cannot Urban should not get back in coaching.
He's untouchable right now just because
Urban Meyer should be done.
He's a disaster. I'll tell you a name to watch that could be off the radar a little bit that maybe people are talking about, maybe they're not, is Mel Tucker at Michigan State. I would call him, and look, everybody's talking about the Saban tree. He's one that has been with
Coach
Saban.
Tuck.
I think he was on the staff
that's
at LSU.
my guy. I know Coach Tuck. I've talked to Coach Tuck like 2 months ago.
Look what he done at Colorado. Look what he's done at Michigan State.
And he's a and what you're talking about as far as like a guy that's a leader of men, a guy that sets the example, a guy that is the example, actually, a very spiritual guy, equipped with the football, and actually knows and been under some of the greatest minds affiliated with that. The only thing with Tuck is a defensive-minded coach. So we would have to either retain what we have or bring in a whole new system. You know what I mean? And start that whole mantra again. So, but I think Tuck would be a very, very good choice. At least somebody that you want to talk to. Because if you're talking about you want to make a higher
stabilizing,
that's right.
That's what I was.
I mean, if you want stability,
if you want, that's right. If you
Mel
want
Tucker's coming there and turning around
immediately. That changes. He changes how you look at the position previous immediately.
Culture.
Look everywhere he's been.
Yeah,
I mean, he's done it everywhere he's gone.
And if you want to see, if you want
to
be able to,
human being as well.
If you want to be able to run the football, I mean, that's all they do. That's their bread and butter.
Mel Tucker is somebody who is a name to watch, in my opinion, just in this search off the board. What do you think about James Franklin at Penn State? Do you have an opinion on him?
Everywhere he's been, a very fiery guy. His teams are always well prepared, well coached. So you know that about him. He understands the culture. You know that for sure. I don't know what you do to get him away from Penn State and get him down here, unless he just definitely wants. In order for him to come, you got to be able to ready to get it from out of that Big Ten. You know what I mean? You got to be ready to get out that cold, get out that Big Ten, and come on
that
down
comfort zone,
baby. But he's been in this area before, so it definitely wouldn't be new to him. Like I said, I love the way the fire that he comes with. His players always speak very, very highly of him. I haven't heard any negative. I don't know him personally, but I haven't heard anything negative about him in the paper, in the media, how he handled these situations. I saw how he handled the Black Lives Movement situation, which was good for his players. His players was on board with everything that he was doing to support them in that retrospect. So I have nothing but players always play hard for him. I've never seen the teams quit on him. So I have nothing but good feelings about him right now. I don't know if he would be the guy, but he also changes how you feel about the position immediately as well.
Yeah.
You know, as far as the good guy mantra.
Yeah. So those are a couple names that I would say early on to watch out for. I see Chris Peterson's name pop up.
Yeah.
To me,
that's been thrown around.
It's a dangerous play, and it's to me it's got more risk than it does reward when you're asking a guy who has been out of football for a while, and maybe that recharges his batteries, and maybe that rejuices him and wants to get him back on a sideline. But a time like 3 years away from the game and putting him back into the monster of what LSU football is every single day, not to say he couldn't handle it, not to say that the job's too big for him, but it's a big dude. It's a big beast that you got to wrestle every single day compared to being out of it for 3 years and showing up on a Saturday to a TV set and talking about it for 4 hours and then going home. Right. It's a lot different than putting up with being the LSU head football coach. I mean, it's a bear you got to wrestle 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and some days the bear kicks your ass, and some days you get the best of the bear. But every day you got to wrestle it.
Every day.
And
it ain't TV, dog.
And what we have seen here for the last year and a half is that the bear is rolling up the head coach every single day he shows up to work.
Bear ain't losing.
He can't handle the fight. It's just too big. And I think the next guy has to really, and not to say Peterson's can't see that, but I think that it's much more luxurious to go home after 6 hours of television coverage on a Saturday rather than having to deal with LSU's head football coach 365 days a year. If he wants back in, him and Scott Woodward have a great relationship, and it possibly could, be a phone call. I don't think that he's the guy that ultimately accepts just the pressure of it. What about Jimbo? How do you handle that? We can't Woodward, Jimbo? No,
I don't think we can.
He's got no buyout. He's got no buyout.
You got to get it.
So I
don't think we could afford Jimbo, honestly. And I mean, I know Jimbo where he is right now. He loves where he is. He loves the position. He loves the freedom that he has. He loves the money that he has to put into the program where they don't have to worry about anything. So, it'll be hard. Their relationship is different. It's a great relationship. I know he loves this community, and he loves this culture. He loves the people here and all that. And I know this would be a place like we talked about that he wouldn't leave. To be the last stop type of thing for him. But it'll have to be like some drastic, crazy things happen for A&M for the remainder of the season for something like that to even get brought up.
But they've talked. I would imagine that he reaches out. Wouldn't Scott Woodward reach out to Jimbo just to see? There's not even a phone call.
Not if not if Rose saying if the money's just untouchable. Why even tease it? Why even now? I do believe that he has called Saban on this, and that has consulted him. The Saban and Woodward they're tight.
Or Jimbo and
I think all
Woodward
three of
like
them.
That?
I think all three of them are tight like that. You're not calling Jimbo for consultation. You're calling Nick. Yeah. You're calling Saban for consultation. I think that he is consulting him on this hire.
Correct.
And I think Nick does have a little bit of kind of I can toy with LSU a little bit, but when dealing with Scott Woodward, he's got enough self-respect for him that he's going to shoot him straight. Yeah. I think that Saban, to me, it was funny, his reaction to Les Miles being fired. I mean, he was the only SEC coach that was really pissed off about it because he knew I could kick this guy's ass every year. You know what I mean? He's just copy and pasting the game plan. And
crazy.
I think he does understand that if you get the right guy here, that this probably is the best job in America. I mean, really, if you have somebody who can play the politics, recruit the state, get the right people in place, have a good working relationship with the institution and the if you can get that guy, if you can get Nick Saban, which I know is look, man, everybody's looking for him. But if you can find somebody that really grips it and owns it, he knows.
Or just find you a great knockoff, dog.
Absolutely, 2.0.
Yeah,
that's 2.0.
Yeah, find you a great knockoff. You ain't gonna find him. Find you a great knockoff,
dog. Billy Napier at Lafayette.
He's a name.
Doesn't he feel like the safest hire out of everybody? Like, if you want to just play this thing completely safe, he'll make sure that he's buttoned up, the tie's always tight, he's buttoned up at the press conference, and he's saying the right thing. He is a good coach. He's a good coach.
He's a good coach.
He's a good coach.
He's a good coach, very professional, very good adjuster at halftime. Hired himself a great staff. So he's one that I would throw in there as well. He's proven it at down the road from us. He's definitely in the conversation.
Sure, I think he definitely is.
He's come up even previously for some jobs.
He has, and you know what? There's been some backroom whispers on him passing on that gig because he may have been kind of tipped off of, look, they don't believe as much in Ed Ogeron and Baton Rouge as they put on, so just be patient. You might have an opportunity down the line to get that one. And Napier knows because he's been on Saban's staff that LSU job is a Cadillac if you can figure it out. I mean, if you can get that thing humming, and if you can get it off the ground, once you get that thing into the air, I mean, you're flying You're flying a Lear jet.
Well, Josh Pate said it really well the other night. He said that the LSU football program right now is a rocket ship. Like the second whoever the coach is, the second they step in, you've already got the guys, got the recruiting class right there. If you can be the right guy to lead them, you're already national championship contenders just because of where the program's at. When it comes to athletes, it's just putting the right guy in charge.
There's a lot of people in the coaching community that know that are calling their agents right now saying, just give me a conversation.
Yeah.
Isn't that the most frustrating part about LSU? Is like when it's right, you see how it looks in 2019 when everything's right. This team can't be beat. Like the people.
It don't even have to be like.
I know, but I'm just saying, like if you
you'll never see 2019 again.
I understand that, but
You'll
I'm
never
saying
see it again.
when all the pieces are right.
It doesn't even have to be that.
Yeah,
you can win it. 2017
Les
team,
Miles.
2017 team, you win it.
Yes.
2018 team, you can win it like that.
2000
The
2006.
frustration that y'all are talking about now is the frustration people like myself, Rondell Milley, T. Fish, Marquis Spears, Brady James. These are the things that we've
Old
been
heads.
frustrated with over the
Beware.
last 10 to 15 years. Because you're right. It's not. Why do you think I always say coaches, dog?
Yeah.
Because it's not for lack of talent. It's never for lack of talent here. Never. You could pull a receipt. You could, man, listen. Only thing I go out this state to get anytime is probably a couple linemen.
That's it.
That's it. You should never. That's why I say it's so important to recruit the state. When you lose your in-state big names, it's a huge deal.
2022. This
I mean,
class.
it's a huge deal. When you lose these big monster D linemen and these offensive linemen, it's a huge deal, dog, because look where we at now. And that's where we've been. Besides Big Dorsey, and he's definitely not the exception in the rule, but it shouldn't be a big drop-off every year where we don't have these guys. But then we look up and see our in-state guys at other universities, mainly in the SEC, dominating on both sides of the football. And that's a problem. And it goes to developing.
Yeah, development's the issue. Dr. Chad Spillers is watching from Johnson Spillers. Shout out to Dr. Spillers and everybody over there at Johnson. He brings up a name that people are curious about that you may have some familiarity with is Doug Peterson. He's a fucking lunatic for sure. I mean, he is a wild man. I mean, a couple of Google searches on Peterson will bring up some just incredible stories. Some incredible stories. He is a Louisiana native.
Yeah,
he has coached high school football here. He's got a Super Bowl ring as a head coach in the league. Would you call him?
His phone's busy.
What I call Doug. Jesus. I actually coached against Doug, man, when he was at
Calvary
Baptist,
Yeah.
dude, back in the day. Doug, I think we'll pass. We'll be all right without Doug, dog.
Doug got a statue over there. He's good.
Yeah,
We got our own issues to deal with here, right? I mean, dude. Google search Doug Peterson and hit me back in the chat.
Because I think people don't know, but it's
No,
really
man,
easy
we
to do.
straight
It's
on
crazy.
Doug,
It's
man.
crazy.
We good on
Good on
Doug.
Yeah, we did.
No shot, no
Probably be the
shot,
best way
but
to
we
say
straight.
it. Yeah, right. That's probably the best way to say it. That's probably the best way to
We
say
don't
it.
want them
We're good.
problems, dog.
We're
Tired of
good.
these guys.
We're good,
Listen,
man. We're good.
We go from Ed O to
Doug.
I mean, we doing our own. We killing
Dig our own
ourselves.
grave.
Digging your own
We
grave.
trying to set ourselves back.
That's
We might
right.
well- listen, they might well put us on what they call it, jail. When they put you in jail, like when you break all
Do
the
not
laws.
collect $200.
Yeah, Doug, no.
Shout out to Lance Beal, the law office of Lance Beal. Remember, get in touch with them down in the Acadiana area if you have some issues dealing with small businesses.
Lance needs Doug needs to call Lance.
Yeah, right. 337-991-6263. The law offices of Lance Beal, bringing you our Sunday night gig here every Sunday night on the Jordy Culotta Show. So that is kind of where we stand at. It'll be interesting to see what this press conference is like tomorrow at noon. I mean, good Lord. You're going to talk about awkward. Then more awkward will be Wednesday morning on the SEC teleconference, and then Wednesday night at TJ Ribs. I got to imagine every phone call is going to be planted. I mean, everybody at LSU is going to have a phone line, and you have got your question already in the bed. Nobody.
No, they're not gonna take no phone call.
They're gonna
Let me tell you what's gonna happen. They gonna have somebody just call it in, dog.
Just hold the line for an hour. Just hold the line for an hour. Do not hang up.
Have one of those voice changer apps.
Do not hang up.
It's just Derek Panamsky.
First question is about Florida. Second question was about Kentucky. Third question about recruiting. Fourth question about what's your favorite meal. Fifth question, what's your favorite color, Coach?
Ronnie Rance, how many voices can you do?
Just nobody gets in on this radio show.
What is
that, AJ Boy?
Hey, stand up.
Where's she at?
Where's she at?
Where's she at? Wave your hand out there, baby!
Where's she at?
Coach, she's 20 and blonde. Don't try to bang her.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Coach, let's talk about Kentucky. Wait. Let me drag this motherfucker real quick.
My favorite part was after O says that second part. Chris Blair goes,
let's get back. You can tell Chris wanted to be like, damn it.
like,
Let's get back to football. I threw you a lifeline.
Did you hear?
Let's get back to football. Let's get back to football.
Did you hear that? Can we get that laugh?
Oh, that
Did you hear that?
The claps in the back.
He's like, please laugh.
I'm
with me.
scared.
Me too, bro.
I'm uncomfortable.
Please
I mean,
laugh with me.
I'm scared.
Oh, God.
Like, who's recruit parents that just heard that it's gonna be okay with leaving him alone in the room?
Exactly. Just, I mean,
Joking.
I'm gonna kill that guy.
I got a spot.
Just like,
Yeah, I bet you do.
holy shit. Let's get back to football, for God's sakes.
Thanks,
Shout
Jim.
out to
Shut
Blair
up.
for trying to save him.
What's that, AJ Boy?
Let's get back to football.
I mean, just so fired up, man. Just
Hell yeah, where's she at?
all in. She's 20. Where's she at?
She blind?
Where's she at? Wait, give me a wave out there, baby. Just give me a wink and nod, something. I'll tell you, look. You want a picture with Coach O?
They all
Come sit on
validate.
your lap. Go sit on my lap. Come here.
Y'all validate parking?
Yeah, right. Just. Coach O, man.
damn it.
Unbelievable.
Oh, come on, man.
So we will be back with you tomorrow morning. Shout out to the law office of Lance Beal. Good to see everybody out there. Before we get out of there, make sure and hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that comment button. Thank you for being here tonight. Make sure and tell a friend that we're here. We're here every day, 7 to 9 a.m., Sunday nights. Compliments of Lance Beal, the attorney down there in Acadiana, down in Lafayette.
Lance will get you straight. Better
For
than
Ro,
you say, dog.
for Noah, for Lizzie, and for the entire crew, Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. We're back with you tomorrow morning.
Hey, baby.
Where's he at? Where you at?